You are an Ironman. Those iconic 4 words preceded by your name drive all kinds of people to this sport. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. You will forever be an Ironman once you cross that finish line. So what's it take? Hi, I'm retired professional Ironman triathlete, TJ Tollakson, CEO of Dimond Bikes. I am a 2-time Ironman champion. So Mike Riley got to call my name more than once.
You are an Ironman!
Over 20 Ironman finishes in my career, 17-year career. So we're going to talk about what does it take to go from a triathlete to an Ironman. Now, I've got another video we did that talks about how to go from the couch to a triathlete. Now we're going to take that next step. How do you go from a triathlete to an Ironman? So the real basis of this is, what kind of time am I looking at? Well, if you just want to finish the Ironman, I recommend a solid 12 weeks of training at about 15 hours per week. So if you're down doing like a 5 or 6 hour a week training program, it's going to take you more than 12 weeks because you're going to have to build up probably over about a 6-week period to get up to 15 hours. Okay? So once you're there, if you're already training over 10 hours a week, you can pretty quickly do a 12-week program, ramp up to 15 hours in a 3-4 week period block. Boom, you'll be ready to go. So let's look at, what does 15 hours of training for an Ironman look like? Well, the bare minimum of this is you're gonna need 3 swims a week. Those need to be about an hour a piece. They can be up to an hour and a half. So you may wanna do 2 45-minute swims and 1 hour and a half swim, or just 3 1-hour swims. What should you do when you swim?
Float?
Well, the best thing you can do is go in and do long repeats hard. Okay, so what does that mean, long repeats? 400s or 800s are kind of where I call the sweet spot. A 400 takes a fast swimmer somewhere close to 5 minutes. 800 then should be somewhere around 10 minutes. Doing these repeats over and over again should help you. Technique.
See, it is all in the technique.
Yeah, technique!
Technique really matters in the swim. So swimming more will help you naturally become more efficient, but you also need to pay attention to your technique. Hiring a swim coach, triathlon coach with some technique.
Technique?
But at the end of the day, swim's the first thing. If you want to complete an Ironman, I'm not talking about winning one. If you want to complete an Ironman, that's the bare minimum swimming you need to do, unless you're Andy Potts and we're an Olympic trials place winner in a distance event. You probably don't need to swim that much at all. But for the rest of us, 3 hours a week is kind of what you need, broken in 3 sessions. And especially in swimming, you have to remember that the number of times that you swim is way more important than the duration of your swimming. So frequency is more important than duration. So 3 swims for the week is more important than swimming 1 time a week for 3 hours. Super important in the swim. So that's what you need for a swim. Now we'll look at the next time commitment, which is going to be the run.
Veronica and I are trying this new fad called jogging. I believe it's jogging or yogging. It might be a soft J. I'm not sure, but apparently you just run for an extended period of time. It's supposed to be wild.
You're gonna need about 5 hours of running every week, and you're gonna do that over 4 sessions. What are those 4 sessions gonna look like? A couple 45-minute runs, 1 60-minute run, and then bam, 1 long run that should be a maximum of 2.5 hours. Okay, maximum of 2.5 hours for a run. If it takes you more time, okay, so we like to try to get 20 miles in a 2.5 hour run. If you can't run 20 miles in 2.5 hours, then you need to try to do your 20-mile run over 3.5 hours, but the maximum run time will be 2.5 hours. And when I say that, that means the maximum time that you're going to run is 2.5 hours. The rest of that hour will be times that you walk. The reason this is so important, most people who finish an Ironman will walk on the run. And I'm not talking like walk 1 mile or 2 miles, I'm talking walk a significant amount of the marathon. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you better be prepared.
That's not ominous.
Okay, and so walking and running on your long runs, meaning your walk up for an hour interspersed with segments of running, and what might that look like? You might do a 20-minute jog with a 10-minute walk just on repeat. So that's every hour you would jog 40 minutes and walk 20 minutes. Don't be concerned so much about your speed when you're doing this as you are about, hey, it's really important that I get this in, and the time on your legs is super important. Next, we're gonna talk about the bike. What's the bike training look like? Well, this is like almost 50% of the race in the Ironman, so it's gonna be almost 50% of the duration of your training. So the bike needs to be about 7 hours of training every week, and that can be done in 3 sessions. And so what should those 3 sessions look like? 2 shorter sessions, maybe an hour apiece. After those hours, bikes, you should be looking to do a run off the bike. And then the big one, your long ride, and your long ride, 5 hours, 5-hour long ride. And so for a lot of people, that comes right down to about a 100-mile ride. So if you're training for a 112-mile ride, the 5 hours on the bike is gonna be super helpful. For some people, that's only an 80-mile ride in 5 hours. Whatever you can do, time on the saddle is really important. Time in the aero bars is really important. And when you do it, especially those long bikes and those long runs, your fueling is super, super important. You must have a plan. You need a plan, I got a video on that too. You need a plan, and you need to practice your plan. Okay, it's a real simple saying, build your plan. Oh, sorry, strike that. We'll go back there.
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it.
Plan your build. We'll strike that and do that again. And then build your plan. That's what we say in the engineering world. We're gonna go back and say that one more time. Plan your work. Work your plan.
One so hard?
There we have it. So, you need to plan what you're doing, and then you need to go execute that plan every time you do one of these long training sessions. So let's look at a sample week. What should a sample Ironman training week look like for someone who's trying to do their first one? All right, Monday, boom, swim. That's it. 1 hour swim in the morning, rest of the day, don't do anything. Tuesday, you're gonna get up in the morning, you're gonna do an hour and 45-minute workout, you're gonna hit the bike for an hour, you're gonna run off that bike for 45 minutes. Wednesday, you are going to swim for an hour in the morning, then you are going to run in the evening for an hour. That's 2 hours of training. Thursday looks just like Tuesday. You're gonna get up early in the morning, hit that hour bike, run for 45 minutes right off the bike. Great training. 3 days in a row, you should be pretty tired. Friday's session, back to the water, just to swim. Just to swim on Friday. Saturday, long bike ride, 5 hours in the saddle. If you want to get some of that run time, you can do a 5, 10, or even 15-minute run off the bike. You don't have to run far, you're just trying to get the adaptation. But you don't need to run off the bike either. 5 hours, that's plenty of time to train. 5 hours on the bike, plan that nutrition, execute that nutrition plan in the training, do it. 5 hours on the bike on Saturday. Sunday, long run day. 2.5 hours of running, maximum, okay? If you're just starting out, do not go run 2.5 hours if your longest run is 30 minutes. You will get hurt. You need to build up, and I've got another video that talks about how to build up when you do that. Build up your run slowly so that you don't get hurt. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you listen to your body when it whispers, it starts telling you, ouch, this hurts, don't do this. You don't have to hear it scream, ah, you idiot, I can't run, okay? Pay attention. Listen to your body, build up slowly. That 2.5 hour run, again, if you can't run 20 miles in that 2.5 hours, you can extend all the way to 3.5 with walking. But total amount of run time does not ever need to be more than 2.5 hours. All right, that's what the week looks like. There you've seen it. If you can repeat that for 3 weeks, then you can cut that volume from somewhere by 30 to 50% for another week to help you recover. That's called a micro cycle, right? So you're gonna do 3 weeks where you do that same thing, then you're gonna take a recovery week, absorb some of that fitness, adapt, and then you're gonna repeat and do it again. So really it takes 3 of those 4-week sessions, with the last recovery week being right before you race. Some people like to do a little bit longer taper. You can do a 2-week taper, but I can tell you, if it's your first one, a 1-week taper, you're gonna be feeling fresh and ready to go and get after it. Yes, it's really important that you do that long run the day after you do your long ride. The biggest reason being you want to run on tired legs. Why it's equally important to do and to fuel properly those Tuesday, Thursday where you ride for an hour and then run for 45 minutes. That's really important because you are also going to load your legs. You're going to deplete some of your glycogen, so you need to practice your fueling. That's what we got here. This is how you can go from triathlete to Mike Riley looking at you saying you are an Ironman.